Today is National HIV Testing Day. There are more than 1.1 million people living in the U.S. with HIV. 20% of them don't even know they have it. Joining me today is Miquel, the Director of Prevention Programming with the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland. Thank you for being with us, Miquel.
Thanks for having me.
Let me ask you, who is at risk for HIV?
You know, the fact of the matter is everybody's at risk for HIV. There are some communities and populations that are at greater risk. We see the most cases of HIV happening in African Americans, and particularly African American males, through sexual behavior with other men. So that's really the high populations that we're seeing.
Yeah. What impact is this having, certainly on American society and certainly on the youth part of American society?
You know, I think HIV has really opened up a lot of dialogue about a lot of things that before HIV hit the scene was kind of a taboo conversation. We're having much more open dialogue about sexuality. We're having much more open dialogue about how do you make healthy sexual choices. And that really plays its part in how we teach young people to make those decisions for themselves as they grow into adulthood. Figuring out how to use condoms, where they get access to condoms, deciding whether or not they're ready to even engage in sex. So,
as I said at the top of this segment, that today is National HIV Testing Day, where we try to raise the awareness of the problem here in the United States, really here in the world.
yes.
Who should get tested?
Everybody. Everybody should
Just
get tested.
everybody?
Everybody should get tested. I mean, one of the most important things for us working towards ending this epidemic is for people to know their status. If you know your status, then it helps you get into treatment, and then helps to lower your viral load, which is basically the detection or the indicator for how severe is your HIV that you have, and thus lower your risk.
In your job as a Director of Prevention Programming with the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland, I know that you've heard that a lot of people fear testing. Why do you think?
You know, I think the information you get from testing changes your life in some really fundamental ways. I think with the advances that we've had in antiretroviral treatments, the death sentence that getting an HIV diagnosis used to be isn't the case anymore. But I think there's still the aspect that it does change your life, but it shouldn't have to be a negative thing. This should be a part of all of the other choices that you make to live a healthy life.
Yeah. Are schools taking a role in this? Are they talking about these kinds of things?
They are. We're seeing more and more schools, you know, contacting us or getting involved in the conversation. There's an entire set of individuals and organizations here in the city that is actually engaged in work and trying to institute what's called comprehensive sexuality education, which is really the thing that's going to really help arm young people with the tools to kind of help them stay negative.
In our final 20 seconds, do you see a possibility of a cure on the horizon?
You know, I do. I think we're closer than ever of eradicating HIV, but I think a cure won't be necessary the way we imagine it. Individuals and communities need to come together and get tested, get treated, and take steps to stay negative.
The bottom line is everybody ought to be
Everybody
tested.
should get tested.
Well, that's easy to remember. Who should be tested?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay. Miquel, who was with the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland, we appreciate you being on the broadcast.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here.